If you doubt that feminism is needed, watch this video. I'm gonna give you some statistics that are gonna blow your mind. Did you know that women are 47% more likely to die in car accidents because the safety features are designed for men? Most studies historically have been conducted on men, for the proportions of men, to protect men. So that is going to have unintended or intended effects of more women, whether that's in healthcare or driver safety. 33,000 girls become child brides every day, every single day. That is the size of many towns in America. At the current rate we're going, it's going to take 108 years to close the gender gap. And if you're curious about what that means, I'm going to include this graphic here so you can see which measures are evaluated to determine this sort of statistic. And as of 2024, although this varies greatly based upon the country, no one country has achieved gender equality. Yeah, not one. So there are countries that are better, like Sweden, but we still have a long way to go before we achieve progress.
And there seems to be no sign of intelligent life anywhere.
All right, fam, thank you for coming back to my channel. And this time we have another round of fact-checking Womanist. As to her first claim, let's take a look. Women are 47% more likely to die in a car accident is a misunderstanding or misrepresentation of a 2011 study which found women are 47% more likely to be seriously injured, not necessarily to be deleted, while women do face higher risk of injury in crashes due to safety testing and vehicle design basis. The overall number of fatal crashes involving women is lower than that of men. Link in the description. Her next point is 33,000 young girls become child brides every day. Funny how she's trying to make it sound like this is happening in the US or even in a Western country. Queen, why don't you say all the facts next time you make a claim like that? Number one, that number is given by UNICEF and other organizations. Number two, the countries that bear the brunt of all this are South Asian countries and Sub-Saharan African countries. And number three, you didn't state the reasons as to why this happens. And the biggest factors that contribute to child brides are, number one, poverty, followed by lack of education, traditional norms of the area, and also, in those countries, the husbands of these child brides protect them from being exploited sexually via human trafficking. Funny how you don't see this queen in those countries trying to push her womanism. And at 108 years of closing the gender gap, it's so convenient that she did not tell anybody here what it was. I'm going to read it straight from her link. It says, despite the global gender gap narrowing slightly in 2018, proportionally fewer women than men are participating in the labor force. Gee. So you're telling us that it's going to take 108 years for you women to decide to go get a job at the same rate as men do? Your fight, not mine. And no country in the world has achieved equality, ever. That's a horrible thing. Yeah, because you're never going to achieve it. It's impossible. In fact, why don't you start by doing true equality here in the US? Why don't you fight for women to be included in the draft? That right that you have that men don't. But I guess that's a fight for another time. Before we move on, I want to say thank you, fam, to all of my subscribers for supporting this channel. I truly appreciate all of you who leave comments, who like my videos, and share them on other social media platforms. I truly gotta say thanks, fam. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here. And for those of you who haven't subscribed yet, I thank you for tuning in, and I hope you decide to hit that subscribe button. Moving on!
How to turn your man into a provider. You need to feel comfortable making him feel uncomfortable. You need to be okay with seeing him struggle, because if it ain't him struggling, girl, it's gonna be you. And I say this with so much confidence because when I first met my husband, I was in the dating scene. If I could provide the lifestyle of my dreams by myself, being a woman who has to deal with menstrual cycles, hormone changes, and I do not have testosterone running through my veins, you're telling me I'm going to put an excuse for a man who can barely provide? Absolutely not. Again, this is personal preference. I personally cannot respect a man if he's not capable of providing for me. Not because I can't do it by myself, but because I can do it for myself. As women, we need to stop taking away a man's responsibility. I'm not afraid of seeing my husband struggle. At some point in our marriage, he was working 3 to 4 jobs. He was sleeping for about 4 hours to make ends meet. Did we stay in this transition period for a long time? No. We're in a stable and comfortable financial place now because I wanted more for us and he wanted more for himself. And now that I'm pregnant, he doesn't ever want me to go back into the workforce because he loves my energy. He loves my presence at home. Am I getting compensated for staying home? Yes. I chose a man who loves me, not who hates me. He's gonna protect me in every single way, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. So you need to ask yourself the question, am I willing to put my standards, the lifestyle of my dreams, and my boundaries above his suffering? Because yes, it's hard in this economy, but anything worth fighting for is gonna be hard. As always, ladies, be wise.
I don't believe I heard you correctly.
Hold up a second, fam. Did I hear that right? Did this Kaween literally just say, I got a husband who loves me? And then right after that, she said she's going to put her lifestyle and her standards above his suffering. She wants him to suffer just to maintain her because she deserves it. I thought this was 50-50, ladies. You said very clearly that at one point you made more money than he did, but you let him suffer and let him pay for everything. So this isn't 50-50. This is me, me, me. I mean, look. You got yourself a blue pill beta simp who's willing to delete himself working to make you happy, and because he got you pregnant, you got the golden ticket for now. Hey, congratulations, this girl is going to give you the W. You got it. But the question is this a temporary W or is it a long-term W? You can only abuse a workhorse for so long until the workhorse decides, you know what, screw it. I'm either going to drop here deleted or I'm just not going to work anymore. And sister, seriously, the higher the value this man goes, the less you qualify for him. And I've seen videos from this queen before saying that she's a high value woman and she deserves the best. She always uses a man's measurement of success to measure her active SMV, your sexual market value. And sorry, sister, not with those sausage fingers you don't. You got lucky that you got a workhorse simp who's working for you. You better hope that whatever spell you got on him never breaks, that he never wakes up and he never figures out, wow, I'm being worked to an early grave for an ungrateful wife who will put her lifestyle over my suffering. Or perhaps one day you're just going to get tired of him because he's so simpy and so predictable that you want more excitement, regardless of how many kids you have, and you have to go find yourself again with a bad boy because you're going to need to go to Chad Tyrone land to have fun on the rides. Moving on.
So I really love that video that the young woman did saying not to date a lustful man. And I think people have heard in a biblical context why they should not date a lustful man. But some of you really need to hear the practical reasoning. And the real reason you don't want to date a lustful man is that lustful men, as I said in my comment, are undisciplined. Yes, everybody deals with lust. Men deal with lust. Women deal with lust. But a man who is constantly lustful, who does not try to exhibit any level of self-control with you or anyone else, not only are you going to see the problems of him being unable to control his lust with you, or sadly, how he interacts with other people, but it's going to show up in other areas of his life. If he's that lustful, he's likely not being who he needs to be or who he has called to be in his career, in his own self-development. Like, he is going to show lack of fruit because he's unable to control his lust, because that is just a symptom of a larger problem. And see, a lot of people are thinking when we've been told things, especially when we're told them in a biblical context, people are thinking that it's just about control, likely because of the systems and the churches that they were raised in. I get it. There are very practical reasons we're being told many of those things. But this lack of self-control that shows up as lust, telling you right now, men that have a really out of control lust problem have problems elsewhere. And you will see them the longer you stay in relationship with them.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Oh, fam, I gotta say it. I think we're gonna come up with a new phrase here. Because, as you know, men will say that women project. And they project the things they've done in the past onto others. Or project their bad choices onto other people. But this lady right here, I gotta give it to her. This is beyond projecting. She's choreographing the men that she wants in her future, using it in a religious format. For those of you who are thinking, Gorilla, what the hell are you talking about? Okay, let me just point out the not so obvious here, and you can follow my train of thought here. There's a difference between, let's say she makes bad decisions and she says, okay, because I made bad decisions, this means that this is a bad guy, even though I don't know him. That's projecting in a stance. But here, she's actually using a religious connotation saying, do not go for the lustful man. And she mentions just about everything that a bad boy is. In other words, this is more than just projection. She's choreographing what a man isn't supposed to do and then using a new edge of the shaming tactic, which is basically a religious connotation, to say, do not date these lustful men. And she basically made a blueprint of what she or women like her probably have dated in the past, what they always chose. The choreography comes into play when you put in certain ingredients. A, her past choices of choosing the bad boys. B, she's enlightened, so she sees everything through her religious glasses now. And C, her shaming tactic, combining the previous two into the third one, goes well beyond what a woman can do on her own, because now she's able to tie in a religious scripture to this. And D, obviously, she'll probably get her local community to embrace this train of thought to do what? Shame men. Don't date these type of men, because this is how bad they are. And at no point does she address, hey, wait a minute, is the reason that women choose these type of men because that's what turns them on? It's completely choreographed to fall on the man's side. She barely mentions lust for women, as in, oh, everybody deals with lust, but the men are bad. Sister, I guarantee you, those men would not act that way if the majority of women wouldn't lust for them. Moving on.
Today, I'm thinking that it sucks that I know he can follow me on social media and it's keeping me from saying things that I want to say. I don't want him to know if I'm doing good. I don't want him to know if I'm doing bad. I don't want him to know anything, and I know I can't stop that. And I know people are going to come at me and say, well, get off of social media. But I want to be on social media, and I want to encourage women to leave a narcissist. I want to encourage women to start over at 50, and I want to keep myself accountable. I went to the DMV. I'm gonna cry. I went to the DMV to get a new driver's license and to tag my car, and it was like, it was real. It was like, this is now my home. It made me sad because it made it so real that that life is behind me. I envisioned my move to the mountains to be it's time, yay, now I get to move to the mountains, as opposed to, I got to get out of here. If I don't leave Kansas and move to the mountains where I want to be, it's going to repeat. And I'm going to be stuck with this narcissist for another 10 years. And I don't want to blame him completely, because I am this person, I've been this person, but he just made me more insecure than I was prior to being with him. Leaving him was hard, but I know that if I was still there, I don't even know where I would be right now. It would be so bad. I am grateful that I was able to move here to the mountains. And I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to start over and become the person I know I'm meant to be.
All right, my multi-decades plus post-war queen. You're shooting out a bunch of mixed messages here. At one point, you're saying that you're happy that you left him and you want to be on your own. Then you say you're afraid that he can follow you on social media and you don't want him to know how your life is going. But when you went to the DMV, you were scared, but you were happy because this is your new life now. Okay, how about this crazy, nutty idea? If you don't want your ex to know anything about you, about your new life, why don't you stop posting it on TikTok? There isn't a mandate for you to make a video about yourself, about what you're doing, about how you're feeling, about anything that's going on with your life, and putting it on TikTok if you don't want anyone else to find out about it. You're just trying to drum up a pity party for something that you're bringing on yourself. All right, ladies, before you say this is unfair, Gorilla, maybe she's trying to do this to help other women. Okay, if that's true, then she wouldn't say that she doesn't want the guy to find out about what she's doing now. In fact, let me come at this from a different angle. Let's say her ex-husband doesn't want her to find out about anything that he's doing. Chances are, he's not going to think, hey, you know what? I think a good way for me to make sure that she doesn't find out anything about what's happening with my life right now is to make videos about my life, about what I'm doing, and post it on TikTok. That's a surefire way to work. No, he wouldn't do that. Why? Because chances are he's not trying to find any validation. He's not trying to find a pat on the back. He's not trying to find someone out there to tell him, you go, king. You take your life back after the divorce. You're strong and independent. You do this. No, most men don't do that. I mean, 80% of the people who post on TikTok are women. And what percentage of that are women there trying to find validation for their choices? You tell me, because I don't know the statistics for that part, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty dang high. Much higher than a guy's statistics anyway. Listen, Queen, I know that most of my male viewers say that therapy is a waste of time. This gorilla honestly believes that therapy has its uses. And I believe that you shouldn't replace therapy with TikTok. TikTok is not your therapist. TikTok is just a digital bullhorn for the entire world to hear your problems. And you're going to get feedback, the ones that you like and the ones you don't like. Seems to me what you need is to find yourself a good therapist and work your issues out that way. Either that, or get yourself a herd of cats and talk to them. I'm pretty sure that they'll meow in unison when you give them some of that fancy feast of Starkist tuna. It's like, hey, do you agree with me? Meow if you do. If you don't get any treats. I'm just saying, if you enjoy this audit, click on the video in the end screen for more content. If you would like to support the channel, please follow the link in the description to donate to our beer fund, or like, subscribe, and share this video on other social media platforms. If you agree or disagree with anything about this audit, please let us know in the comments. I'm going to leave this audit right here. I'll see all of you in the next episode.